Good evening everyone, welcome here. We are here in Portimao at the Circuito do Algarve in Portugal, and I'm Cristiano Romano, and for tonight I'll be your voice for the 70-minute race, which is the round number 3 of the half-season long Nitro Concepts Pro Series in Le Mans Ultimate. Effectively, this series basically has its purpose in being sort of a test track for the next effective season, the season number 1 in Le Mans Ultimate. As LFM is experimenting with a new toy, let's say. With the latest update, also this game is really starting to have a shape, effectively. But for the rest, we are in the new DLC too, since Portimao is not in the base game. And you may have known about some hours ago about the news about this beautiful track, because it will be back in F1 in 2027, 2028. But probably you know the track more because of its endurance core, the International Circuit do Algarve is la Turbo Internazionale do Algarve, sorry, 4.6 kilometers long, and effectively this track is more a test track than a real race track. Essentially, its purpose is not only in its core about being a racetrack, but also about being a technology park. A university here actually has its tests, both for Formula student and for all kind of tests regarding technology and automotive research. But the track also, as I said, hosts racing series. You probably have a bit more familiarity if you watch Two Wheels series. The MotoGP comes here since 2020. The SBK has been here since 2017. LMS, same since 2017. And the TCR Europe also took a few laps here at Algarve. As I said, 2027, 2028, it will be also the Formula 1 coming here, but the GT World Challenge Europe also will be back after the 2 years in the mid-10s, and also the Ferrari Challenge Europe will be next target for this track, which is actually starting to get populated. I honestly love this track, mainly because of its elevation changes, and quite frankly, I've been loving the track since Project Cars 2. The track was actually one of my favorites. It will never beat Solder, but it remains one of my favorite tracks. Let's go into the slides, because it's important to state the reason. Here it is. For this championship, this half championship rewards the winner of the championship in both classes with a €500 voucher for Taskmaster. Whoever arrives in second, Legend Gaming Chair Silver Edition by Noble Chairs, and there is a Win Immersion Win Bundle by Nitro Concepts for whoever goes home with a bronze medal. The full calendar is this one here. As you can see, we are in Portimao, then it will be Monza, close to Christmas, Silverstone, just before New Year's Eve, and then Le Mans with the 2 hours on the 6th of January. In the standings, this is the situation in GT3. It takes a while. David Askitashvili and Mark Sidruk 1-2, German 1-2 with close to 2,000 points, and tied to Sidruk it is Marin Bessier with Clemens Knitzel and Noah Erge completing your top 5. And in Hypercar, the top 15 rolls out for now, and this is the situation in Hypercar with Kobe Chan being the a bit solo running in first place, then about 100 points behind. Eric Gambal follows with Nicolas Ulrich, Fabian Rolf, and Mattia De Campo completing your top 5. Effectively, this is still a quite tight pack for the remainder of the series. Let's see. Right. Okay. Live, is it already time for qualifying? Not yet. Not yet. Results for the last time. I think it's a good idea to show them while I'm waiting for the qualifying to start. In Imola, it was Marin Bessier winning in GT3 with Clemens Nitzel David Naskintashvili with Mark Siduk and Valentin Khokov completing your top 5. It was a bit of a mess at the tail end of the race after a couple of drivers went into the pits, and to this day I still have no idea the reason. I tried to research for it, and no one had an answer. So effectively I still have no idea why half of the top 10 pitted at the very last lap, if not that one, the one prior to that. But the field shuffled and Bessier won the race in the end. In hypercar, it was a bit different, with a great battle for first, although there was a huge incident at the very first part of the race, which took out Noski and Stratman, apologies, Noski and Banner. But in the end, it was Harry Gambal, Kobe-chan in second place, just behind him. And then Fabio Rolf completed the podium, Mattia De Campo and Simone Alessandro Casciaro completing your top 5. Let's see if something different happens this evening. As I say this, we can go live. And here we are. With Manuel Fuchs, that will be the first car on track at the moment. I hope the audio is better since the last time around, as it was a bit too loud, especially at the beginning of it. I also added a bit the graphics. Let me know if you like it. As you can see, there is a top 10 in both classes, but okay, it's easier if I show this one. As you can see, it's always 10 drivers being shown most of the time, unless it's carrying 15th. Otherwise, here you are. You can see a couple of more cars. Theoretically, you should always see about 10-11 cars per class. Also, you can see the number of cars present per class. As you can see, 13 for now hypercars and 15 GT3s. Also, something I wanted to try out was the dark mode, but I actually don't really like. Although it's cool, I'll be honest. I might try it for this evening only because it's a bit easier to understand who overtakes who. So I will try it for tonight, and if I find it more pleasant to be seen, why not? And also I changed the opacity of the leaderboard so it's more readable. For the rest, it should be the same. And also, you can see a bit of a difference on the bottom right part of your screen, because now the position is there, but not the number of the cars. The number is pretty useless, considering the liveries have a different number compared to the cars. Now in hypercar, maybe I found. Why isn't it? Oh, okay, this is a problem. I will resolve it now. I just noticed that effectively if I watch someone in the top 5, can't see anybody else. So let me just slowly quick. Okay, that was. I should have got it, but apparently I'm not really the smartest tool in the shed. So we go back into showing you the top 10. I will deal with it, I guess, at this point. The top 10 should always stay up, anyway. As I said, a bit of testing still going on. Davide Mulo for now, the first pole sitter of tonight's qualifying session. As always, the qualifying session has both classes going around the same time. 140.3, but realistically this is not going to be the fastest time, as these cars don't have the warmers that usually are used in other series. They go out on cold tires, and the first lap is not really the best possible. In GT3 we got the Mustang for David Naskitashvili, for now in first place, 144.5. And even for them, realistically, it is going to be a change as Luis Berto, third place for now. As the car joins the podium section. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the onboard simply because it doesn't work anymore after the update. Yemuro about to cross the line for another time. Gilhod will not be able to improve. Chan will. And Yemuro actually improves. But apparently his last lap was not a valid one, as he went off track. Kobe Chan for now second, 130.4. Oh no, okay. Never mind, it has just been updated. So it was a 130.3 effectively. It has been confirmed of an improvement. Kobe-chan follows about a tenth behind with Erchan also. For some reasons, I can't see the cars. Oh. Oh, okay. I think I know why. Okay, I didn't know it. I'll be honest. Apparently qualifying, there aren't cars around. I didn't notice the last time. I feel very down right now. I'll be completely fair on you all. Arda, oh, apologies. René Felder, now third place in the Lamborghini, in the Huracan Evo 2, in the Fischer Racing colors. So for now, Nadia Fili in pole for the team with a 133.8, and Marine Bessier still in second, but effectively tied with his rival in terms of speed, not so much in terms of time, since there are 4 times between the two, with Nitzel that follows in third for now in the Lexus, with Felder that fell down in 5th. Kiefel very close to Kiesel. Matter of fact, only 2 milliseconds separate Kiefel and Kiesel. Felder, which is now in 5th place. Funny, the graphic takes a while to update. As Yemulo goes back into the pits, so for a bit there will not be an improvement for him. Kobe-chan on the out lap, as the Valkyrie will start the lap with a screaming V12. First turn here. With a noise that is always beautiful to hear. As I think it was Clemens Hitzel going back in third after Sidruk took advantage of the situation and went in further for a brief moment. Again, as always, let me know if the audio has to be more or less, since I can't hear what comes out of OBS. My only clue is the mixer bars, which are not really useful. Kufel goes into second in the Porsche with the Iron Dames colors, with a 144.1, but still very far from Nasgidashvili that set a very high bar, 43.7. Kobe-chan about to cross the line for the next lap out of turn 13, which is the hairpin. After gulp, and Chan goes across the line. It is an improvement, a 30.4. Oh, that's off track. Oh, that's off track, unfortunately. So the 30.4 will remain, and with only 6 minutes to go, I'm not sure how much of an improvement can come out of it. Arda Erkan as Müller. That was Müller jumping in 9th place. Lucas Müller with a 131.2, but Lucas Müller, compared to the last time, it's not the same pace. He was battling for the win last time around, and now he's not really there. Harry Gambal also a bit behind schedule. He's in 6th at the moment. in the Cadillac. Fabiarov will be the next car to cross the line as Hurrik goes back into the pits. And Fabiarov doesn't improve. Someone that does improve is Gilhead. Sven Gilhead just set the second fastest time. Only 5 milliseconds quicker than Kobe Chan. But he is in second now. And the driver from Hong Kong has been sent into row number 2. Another outlap for them. As Yemulo still stands in the yellow Cadillac. Which famously doesn't really have any luck in either WEC or IMSA, to be fair. None of them are really luck-based for this car usually. As Yemulo was jumping around into Gulp at the final turn. As a matter of fact, it was not an improvement. It was a 30.4, but not an improvement either way. Still, it would have been enough for Paul. Although that, Yemulo clearly is having a good run this evening. In GT3, Nasgirashvili still remains in first. Kiefer for now is second. Bessier and Kittel are all tied together because between Kiefer and Kittel there are effectively 111 milliseconds. As you can see, 44.1, 44.2, 7.3, so actually I can't count. Okay, no, actually, there are two different times. 162 and 161. Okay, so this is odd. Apparently, for some reasons, I can't speak anymore. My timetable shows up careful with a millisecond less. That's peculiar. Exactly 1 millisecond. I don't know the reason for that. But I will not question the Almighty not so much. Race control, as Chan ultimately took the matter personally, and he is back in second, but I don't think he will be able to set another lap, as once again he had to abort the lap after setting an improvement. As Chan goes back on track, 30.462, 15 milliseconds quicker than Galehead this time, so 20 milliseconds only as an improvement. Earlier on it was a 4.82, and now it is a 4.62. Valkov, that's third place for the Lexus driver. And as you can see, 0.0. Okay, in GT3 this is absurd. Look at that. Between Valkov and Silva, there are 7 tenths, but each of the drivers are gapped by less than a tenth. Oh, that's a spin for Valkov. So there is not going to be any improvement for him. And Kufel is 13 milliseconds in front of Valkov. And Nitzel now jumps into 4th, but look at that, 21 milliseconds behind Kalkov, but 7 in front of Bessier. This is absurd. Look at the times. This is incredible in GT3 for now. This is as close as it gets. Kufel is very far away from Nasgirashvili, so probably Nasgirashvili will have an easy time in his first place in class, but Kufel, Kalkov, Nitzel, Bessier are literally glued together. And now Sidoruk joins the lobby as he gets 4th, but he is 80 milliseconds behind Kalkov and 13 in front of Nitzel. This is incredible stuff. We got 5 cars in 50 milliseconds, not even 40 milliseconds. It's incredible. And then Felder is in 7th with Fuchs only 10 milliseconds behind. Bart another 10th and a half And then Silva in 10th with Krieger, that follows another 82 milliseconds behind. So it's very, very close. Rolf goes in 8th place. And even here, the situation doesn't really change, as we've got 34 milliseconds between Gambal and Rurik. Müller follows another 60, and Rolf another 10 milliseconds, with Cedar following another 70 milliseconds behind. Which is really, really good for the race, for the upcoming race. 28 seconds to go, not much still going on. As you can see, many of the cars are back in the pits. As Nitzel didn't score his best shot, and that's a 44.0, so he goes away from the pack of cars that were all good together in a single 10th, as Cedar also jumps some places. Look at Cedar now 6th, 21 milliseconds in front, behind Ulrich, but only 4 in front of Ulrich, and only 13 in front of Gambal. So the battle for 5th in Hypercar is going to be very interesting, and also not to waste the one for 2nd. Kobi-chan is only 15 milliseconds ahead of Gilhod. Effectively, Dario Yamul is the only one having a good time. In both classes, the leader is the only car that's still having some breathing air. As Pulse Racing here with a beautiful livery with white, black and lime combination. And Hinkowski is also the second car that still misses the finish flag. And effectively Hinkowski remains in the car number 93, the only car that still has to set the final lap time. But as you can see, look at the intervals, it's as close as it gets. Don't think we could get any more than this. As Hinkowski goes into the pits. So effectively this is not going to be a lap finished for him. And important to notice that the consumption in the fuel is double, but the tires are realistic, and the timer is also thrice as quick. So the race will start at 4 o'clock and will end effectively at 7 o'clock, roughly, since it's 70 minutes instead of 60. Obviously, we are just waiting for the track to go into race mode. But ultimately, this has been a beautiful qualifying session with very, very little space for a mistake. Fabian Roth, for example, is 10th at the moment. And by setting a single 10th better, okay, to be exact, 104 milliseconds better, he would have been 5th. That's the gap between Rurik and Roth. 104 milliseconds. In GT3, Kufel is 3rd. And then Marine Bessier, 6th at the moment. Not even 40, no, exactly 40 milliseconds better, he would have been 3rd in 2nd row, and now he will start in 6th place in class. So he will start at the tail end of the 3rd row. And then we got Felder and Fuchs, 10 milliseconds between the two. And then obviously Kobi-chan and Sven Gilhod, only 15, only 26 milliseconds. In the end, it was a slight improvement for Chan, but it doesn't really change the fact that it's only 26 milliseconds instead of 15, so not a huge change.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start.
As you can see, the race start is about to get going. Let me just do a quick thing. Okay. I really like more the dark mode compared to the white mode. Mainly because I can see better the position changing. Oh, 6, 10, 42. Okay, it should be the same. Yeah, okay, just to be safe, I'm just looking at everything working, which is the case. And I need back this one. So in 15 seconds, we will start with the formation lap.
Formation lap has started.
As now starts. I hope I could have gotten some more time to show you the qualifying results, but it was a bit too quick. The results weren't ready in time, but in the same way, it was also very, very close to start. So we just have to trust me this time. But we are very close to start of the third round in Portimao. Dario Mulo will be ahead of everyone, with Kobe-chan following alongside him. You can see the green flag in the background, but the green lights are going on now. It's green light and away we go. It was a very good start by the candidate number 4. That's Henry Gamble, that unfortunately had to also remain a bit behind, and that's the Valkyrie going on the outside. They can't get the first place. It was over the marbles, and with cold tires it wasn't really a done deal until turn number 2. And matter of fact, now Sven Gihod is about to make a move on the outside on the very same Valkyrie. There was some defense from Kobe-chan, but he couldn't defend his positioning. Now he's in third, maybe even fourth, as the other BMW. Oh, that's a free wide into the hairpin, which is terrible for everyone involved. And Erkan is now in second place, with Kobe-chan in third, Sven Killed in fourth place all of a sudden after he went wide on the hairpin, and Durek follows just behind with Dario Mulo that already created a second 0.2 of gap between himself and Erkan behind. As you can see, Riccardo was starting in fourth place, now he's in second. Although his teammate, oh, that's Kobe-chan, and Kobe-chan going for the spin. And that's the 12 Valkyrie that also made contact with another car that was passing by. That was that's suspension damage, unfortunately for Fabian Roth. You can see the wheel that is not really placed in a normal fashion, and I think he will go into the pits. No, he stays out. I think there is some damage to the wheel. Yamulo still in the first place, Erkan following Sven Gilhead, his teammate in third now, but certainly Kobe-chan will not be happy with how the situation unveiled itself. And then Moritz Urek is now in fourth with Erin Gamble completing your top 5. We go into the GT3 field. Devin Asgidashvili, after a great qualifying session, is not really creating the same gap with his teammates, Clemens Schnitzel and Valentin Kolkov. For now it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Fischer Racing. Manuel Fuchs and Mark Sidruk following and completing the top 5, with Marianne Bessier in 6th and Joseph Kiefel all the way down in 7th. He was starting in 3rd, but the Porsche driver is not really having a great time so far. Trying to See if anything changes between the two teammates. As it was a bit of an odd line for Erkan, I think. Matter of fact, Gilad is a bit quicker than his teammate on the consequence of the right hand at the final turn, turn 13. Oh, that was a very wide line for Moritz Ulrich. I think Ulrich lost maybe a tenth, but not a lot more, and Harry Gamba lost part of the delivery for some reasons. And Ulrich follows now in 6th place. Nicolas Ulrich, not Moritz. For now the situation remains quite stable here in Hypercar compared to the last time at least. I think there was a move as Kobe-chan, yes it is, Kobe-chan going on inside as Aloy in the Ferrari 499P lost the place on Chan, and I think another one with Fabio Roth that thinks about a move outside. That happens on the high part of the hill. Roth gains another one. Fabio Roth is now in 11th place as an Aloy 12th, Nicholas Davis 13th. Well, a mistake for the Cadillac with the Wayne Taylor Racing. Was it the Daytona Special? No, it was the Le Mans, sorry. The Le Mans Special livery. Took me a while to remember. In 13th. Well, the battle in GT3 is still quite calm, mainly probably because of the intra-team battle being in place. Although you can see here Manuel Fuchs, which is a bit slower than his teammate Mark Sidok behind in the Lexus. Lexus and BMW battling here for position number 4. Go into turn number 1. Oh, that's very wide for Bessier. And Kiefer could become a danger for the French driver. Marin Bessier in 6th place isn't able to... is able, apologies, to defend his position. But Kiefer is still there and will probably maybe try and attack sooner or later. Someone who may try and attack is the BMW here, because it's clearly getting nervous. Manuel Fuchs is clearly getting nervous. Fuchs who already gained 3 places as there is an overtake behind. That was between Alvaro Incausti and Noah Eder, who just jumped 1 place, 11th place now for Eder in the Lexus behind Rini Felder as Barto in the BMW M4 is now in 9th place. Felder lost 3 places since the start of the race, although you can see the Lamborghini that was searching for a move that couldn't be found. Attempts only between Felder and Barto. Fastest lap for Felder was the last one, 45.9. Barto, on the other hand, it was a 5.5 as the best lap, but the last lap was a 5.622. Felder was a 6.2. Actually, it was a bit of a slow lap for Felder in comparison. It's a bit more calm, the whole situation, compared to Imola. As you can see, a little train forming here in 11th place. Now 10th. Okay, now it's still 11th. Oh, there's a car off. I think that was Daniel Gomez. No, boys, that was Perdek, who lost several places after going wide and losing the rear end. Hugh Winters couldn't get through, and for now Winters remains in 16th and last place on track. Although a beautiful livery for the car in 16th. As Joseph Kiffel is now clearly a bit of an issue for Bessier, and probably an overtake could happen. 44.9 was the best lap for Kiffel, but the last one was a 5.4. Now, he has been in dirty air for this whole time. It's important to say it that probably the last laps, 45.0, he goes into the inside and it was a quick overtake. I don't think Bessier really put any defense into turn 1. Probably Bessier understood that there wasn't really any choice. On the other hand, if the Porsche gets through and goes for a move on Fuchs ahead in 5th place, maybe Fuchs could become a good target for Bessier. Now in 7th, but Kiffel has lost several places since the start of the race. Unfortunately, I don't have a replay on hand, mainly because I don't think there is a way to go into incidents, not like SAC anyway. 12 minutes have passed, still an hour to go. And this little train is still the same. It has been the same for the last 10 minutes already. .3, the best lap for Ulrich, but the last one was a 2.6. But although there aren't many overtakes so far, because I admit there haven't been many overtakes, you can see that the pack is still a pack. No one really, well, there are exceptions, like the Cadillac in first, who at this point Yemulo already created a bit of a river between himself and Arkan. 3.7 seconds at the end of the lap for Yemulo. But after Arkan, there isn't really any major gap. There is a little gap between himself and Gillard. Ulrich follows another second and change behind. But then this happens. Blue flags because the GT3 has been reached. That was Ulrich going over the curb a bit too hard. And Ulrich lost some time, but gained some more after Gumball wasn't really able to get ahead of the BMW M4, and now Gumball could make the move into Ulrich, and there it is, also the move between Gillhead and his teammate, as Gillhead gets the overtake done on his teammate. Oh, that was nearly a contact between Ulrich and Cedar, with Ulrich the lost the place on Gumball, and then Ulrich himself nearly went onto the side of his teammate. Apologies to Cedar, then Ulrich made a move on Cedar too. And the official racing order has been put in danger, because as you can see here, now the BMW is in the middle of the two Cadillacs with Lucas Cedar that lost the place on Ulrich, Nicolas Ulrich. Moritz Ulrich is still in 5th place. And then some more behind, it was maybe Mattia De Campo about to lose the position on the Valkyrie of Kobe-chan. After the spin at the very early stages of the race, is now back in contention for the top 10 at least. And as always, the multi-class part of the racing action always delivers, because it's completely useless if you are quick on yourself, if you can't really put a fight with blue flags around you. And also here there's been the overtake between Kiffel and Bessier. Bessier is now back in 6th place, Kiffel back in 7th, although I don't think it's going to be the same at the end of the out the back straight, although maybe it is. Oh, it was a bit of a lockup for the Cadillac. That was Lucas Cedar. Also put some gap between Kufel and Bessier. And the following, Lucas Miller and Mattia De Campo. The cars that have to kind of work together to lose as little time as possible, but you can see that it's not really as easy as it seems. Especially with the speed difference and the way that these cars work. The hypercars have more of a aerodynamic proficiency rather than a mechanical stability compared to the GT class. And oh, that's Gumball losing the place on Rurik. Rurik is back in 4th after one of the Lexus. That was Mark Sidoruk. Yeah, it was Mark Sidoruk probably. No, but it was Nitzel. It was Clemens Nitzel that lost a lot of time to his teammates. Suppose for a mistake on his hands. And so here, Moritz Zurich is back in 4th, Harry Gamble is back in 5th, and Nicolas Zurich and Lucas Cedar follow. Although you can see that's the car in P1 in class. Lucas Müller managed to gain some more on his rival. Lucas Cedar now lost a lot of time on the gap he had with Müller, who is now very close to the back of Cedar. Mattia De Campo hasn't made a move yet, and Kobe-chan, not really slow, but steadily, he has been making moves here and there, and he's really getting close to more upper places. For now in Hypercar it doesn't seem to change the situation as of now. Can say the same here. The Fisher Racing train is not really helping the other Fisher Racing train. Having so many cars of the same team in one race, trust me, it's not really a good thing, because every single time you are a bit cautious, but maybe too cautious, and you don't really make a move anywhere around, and you try to give your teammates as much space and clean air as possible, but you may ruin your own race by doing so. And Ulrich nearly got burnt with his sentence, mainly because he initially lost the position on Gumball because of his mishap with his teammates, but then he gained it back. Who knows, probably because of his teammates. Unfortunately, the camera wasn't on Gumball's name when that happened. A car that certainly didn't lose too much time was Dario Mulo, who still has the best lap of the race so far, a 31.8. The last one was a 32.2. For Gilhead it was a 42.4, and for Erkan it was a 42.9, so a bit of a disaster for Erkan compared to his teammate. Ulrich follows behind. It was a 43.4 for Ulrich, as Gumball is very close once again into making a move to his rival. This is for 4th, but it may become for 3rd eventually, who knows. Erkan is not really that far away. 4 seconds are a lot, but 4 seconds are a lot relatively speaking. A single car could make one of the hypercars lose 2 seconds if the timing is terrible, and less than ever. But Arda Erkan for now sleeps well with a 4 seconds gap. Gumball wasn't able to achieve much, and Felder just gained the place on Silva. A 9th place for Felder, René Felder, who started in 7th place in Lamborghini Huracan, then lost a handful of positions. Now he's back in position number 9. Now, Marine Bessier is about to put an assault on Fuchs' position. The top 5 is in reach for... Oh, that was close. In the hairpin. Into Torre Vip. Turn number 5. It has been a bit of a hotspot for close calls, that hairpin there, but it's the same in real life. I think you saw at least one race here, either in Formula 1 or in LMS or in any other series, MotoGP comprehensive, and that hairpin usually tends to become, well, not in MotoGP, because in MotoGP they use the shorter hairpin, but in the rest I think it's even in real life it's quite common to see some close calls in that hairpin, and it has been practically the same here in Le Mans Ultimate. 5.5 the last lap for Bessier. It was very close to the best lap for Bessier, as it is the first pit stop. That's Joseph Kiefel. He decides that he had enough and he will go into the pits. Obviously he will lose several places. You can see the energy that is starting to drop already. Remember, 2 times the usual consumption. Yes, it is 2 times. 2 times the usual consumption, so usually a stint is around 50 or so minutes if you save fuel, an hour if you are very good at it. Here it is 30 minutes. Again, it was... Oh, this time it was a contact. This time it was a contact between Fuchs and Bessier. A little tap, but it was a contact nevertheless. And Bessier's last lap was not a valid one, so at least showing it would have been cool, but I guess not. Let's go back into hypercar. There has been some clear fuel saving for Gumball. Not a lot, but 3% is still 3%. It is nothing to laugh about. But in reality, he hasn't even been the best one at it. Bessier 31% compared to Fuchs 20%. Bessier is basically going on eco mode. He's basically using map 8 out of 8 in his car, and basically costing as much as possible. 31% is a lot for... Oh, that's... never mind. Oh no, wait, it has been updated. 25%. But still, compared to Fuchs, 14%. It's a lot of difference between the two cars. So Gumball at this point, I think he is purposely remaining behind. That will be death in ACC. I think you are referencing about the hairpin little tap. Yeah, in ACC you would have seen a car spinning or going places where you shouldn't have been going. Here it was just a little love tap, a little tap on the rear. I mean, I love the game, but I'm the first one to say that the contact physics in ACC is not really the best in the world. There are better... Oh, wrong car. Here it is, a possible overtake between Mueller and Cedar. We see it on the outside. There's a little tap between the two cars, going door to door into the hairpin at Torre Vip. And by the end of the hairpin, it is the BMW with Lucas Mueller on the driving seat that took a place out of Cedar, that was still trying to battle his way out of it, trying to get back into 7th, but Mueller has been defending the inside this whole time, and at the very top of the hill, that's Mueller that remains ahead of Cedar. The Campo has a bit of a VIP seats here. As you can see, there's not really putting the white flag. He's not really surrendering. He has been close for this whole time. And see, there is not really saving either. 16%. Mattia De Campo and Lucas Müller, 18% each. The last reading at least. Yemulo, 11%. And that's, as you can see, the overtake between Bessier and Fuchs, who loses the position for a brief moment. Although you can see with the two cars that are into defensive mode, but only one can get into offensive, the other into defensive. And the Lexus goes back on the racing line on the outside with Manuel Fuchs that tried to get back ahead of Bessier, but the Frenchman was very able into defending into the hairpin, into turn number 5, as the beautiful driver goes for the lunge in an impossible place, and the 127 car wasn't able to clinch. It was a bit too late and maybe a bit too optimistic for Fuchs, as he remains behind and likely will go into the pits at the end of the lap, although it's still not over with a Lexus that went into fuel save for this whole time and now has a lot more fuel energy compared to his opponent, who only has to remain behind and to maybe try an attack here. He goes for the move on the dive bomb. Oh, attack between the two cars, and the Lexus manages to go into cutback, and Bessier takes back position number 5 with a cutback. And so realistically, this is going to be the Lexus lap. As a matter of fact, I was correct. And that's Manuel Fuchs and Luis Barto going back into the pits. There wasn't enough in the tank for none of them, to be fair, because Bessier is the only one that will be able to cross the line among the top 8, 9, even 10. I think no header was actually able to save. Basically the same strategy as the other Lexus. Bessier and header, look at them, they have been quite good at this. And the Campo in Cedar, you can see Müller gained a second and a half already on Cedar, who is not really having a good time so far. Last lap for Cedar, compared to the usual 2.3 that could be set. Cedar set a 44.2, quite a slow lap. Müller, on the other hand, usually setting 32 seconds, 33.2 at the last lap. As Küffel with 78%. Remember, Küffel was the first one that went into the pits in the GT3 field. GT3 LM, if you want to be technical about it. Oh, that was a bit of a nearly a spin there. Sbarto all of a sudden finds himself in front of Nitzel, and there is a switch between teammates, Mark Sidruk and Valentin Kalkaf, with Kalkaf that was trying to get ahead of his teammate, and I think he will try again on the run to turn number 5, and that's Kalkaf going ahead of Sidruk. Kalkaf going ahead of Sidruk. But Barto, it was a better pit stop for Barto, clearly, because now the Kitzel is behind. 109 for Barto, Kitzel 121. So I suppose there was some tire change, but not a was a full one. I think it was only so Barto clearly changed only one side, 109. Küffel didn't change tires, and so didn't Krüger. Sidoruk, Kalkov, Kinsel, and Naskidashvili all changed 4 tires. And so that's why Barto was able to make the overtake, because he had part of the tires already heated up. That's good strategy for Barto. I knew that time in the pits would have been useful one day, and this is the day. You can see 109, 10 seconds. The difference is clear, and Barto probably will change tires at the next pit stop. either all 4 of them or only one side. We will see, probably all 4 of them. As Krüger gets a position ahead of Eder, as Silva also gets ahead. And let's see what happens here in Hypercar. There's a different stop for the cars involved. Well, Yemulo still didn't update, but Yemulo 55 seconds, so no tire change for Yemulo, and not a tire change for Gilhead. Erkan, I can see the same lap time. Müller, maybe some damage repair action into the medium tires. Kobe-chan, clearly one side has been changed. Only one. Campo, 4 tires. And Gambal, disaster of a pit stop. Because 4 tires even for Gambal, but probably something more. So more fuel probably. Ah, okay, yeah, it was clearly more fuel on the car for Gambal. You can see here with energy, which is just short of 60% for the top 4. Even the time is a bit less than the usual minutes. Each tire change is about 10 seconds. It's about 9 something. But let's say 10 just to get a round number. And you can see that Gambal set a full pit stop for himself. But the Campo, a bit different. Full pit stop, but probably only half of the tires were changed, and also something has been repaired, because 1 minute and 5 seconds to repair something. As Bessier is trying to defend here into second place to David Naskidashvili, who is trying into the outside. Little tap between the two, as you can see on the pit stop. Bessier changed only half of the tires, so probably the left one are still the old one, while the right ones are the newest ones. And Kinsey also went ahead of Barto, but at the same time Naskidashvili managed with better tires to get ahead of Bessier. And Kinsey, on the other hand, did the same actually. With Barto that lost a place on Kinsey, probably the old tires are starting to feel themselves. They're starting to become a bit of an issue for Barto, as already one place has been lost. Maybe a second place will get. A matter of fact, it happens just now. 127 gets ahead of Barto, so Barto loses 2 places in a single lap in the canal of 31. Oh, there is a bit of a wheel spin for Kharkov. Sidoruk goes on the outside. So maybe the old tires strategy aren't, even if it's a mixed strategy, it's not really working for Bart at least. Bessier on the other hand, for now remains in 3rd. But I don't feel like this is going to change. I don't feel like this is going to stay the same. I think it is going to change eventually. Meanwhile here, Mattia De Campo and Harry Gambal. Remember, Mattia De Campo had only 2 tires changed. Gambal full pit stop. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens at the front of the field, because the top 5 clearly chose a different strategy in the fuel, at least. Yemulo, Gilhead, Erkan, Müller, and Chan. Although Chan is a bit of a middle ground. I don't really understand if the tires were also changed. 1 minute and 8 seconds. It could be that only one side was changed. Looking at the fuel, at least. The energy, sorry. And even Kiefel's strategy kind of confuses me. 58%. It was a very early stop for Kiefel. But who knows if it might work. As Kitzel gains 1 place, and that's Marine Bessier losing a podium position. And Marine Bessier now 4th. Valentin Kharkov is the next in line to maybe put forward an overtake. with Fisher Racing that's been dominating. Oh, that's unusual. Kalkov is a retirement for Kalkov. It is a retirement for Kalkov. I'm not understanding the reason. The car went into the pits, but something clearly went terribly wrong for Kalkov. So that's a DNF, very likely. Going back into a hypercar battle. This time, I think Gumball's tires are finally up to speed. The Porsche is very good. It's coming out of final turn 13. And for now the Campo remains in 6th with a 32.7. Gumball wasn't able to put forward an overtake. And for now the Campo remains ahead of the Cadillac driver. The GT3 cars here could help. No, never mind. Actually, probably they did the opposite. And a lunge was possible there, but Gumball was a bit cautious. Will it pay off? No, it actually doesn't pay off. Gumball was able to remain the same place. And Gumball is not really putting forward an overtake. There have been plenty of opportunities, although a bit difficult, but there have been multiple occasions, and now the Campo can't defend against Gumball, who took a very difficult spot to try an overtake, which didn't happen for the first time around. The second time into the inside, that's the number 4 that once again can't put an overtake into completion mode. Campo is losing a lot of time. In the meantime, Bessier lost another place that was expected. Sidruk gained 4th place on the French driver. I'm not entirely sure how good the strategy has been so far for the mixed tires drivers, with Kruger that went a step deeper and also put less fuel than the usual, so he has now 45% only. There's another chance appearing for Gumball, but this time the number 4 had a better exit compared to the Campo, who's still on the inside line, so something could still happen between the two. But no, actually the Italian loses the place and not even the time to look forward, and he already has to look back into the mirrors once again, because Moritz Ulrich is the next opponent for the Campo in the Proton livery, the number 99. And Moritz Ulrich was starting in 5th, now he's in 8th, and he's hungry for positions, at least one position. For 2.9 in the last lap. If you go look at the Campos one, it's not a lap apparently, but it was probably close to the 33.5. I'm just guessing with an estimate compared to how much they've lost last time around. The Campos lap still not a bad one. Ulrich set a 32.5. It was a very good lap. I remember even Ulrich has 4 new tires. The consumption has been eating the tires. Remember, 2 per the usual, 2 times the usual. So the fuel, apologies, not the tires, the fuel. So that's why you're seeing so many cars that are already out of energy. The problem of having a mixed strategy in the tires here is that the track is not... let's take an example. Brands Hatch, which is basically all right-hand corners. Here it's a mix of them, and now you can see Ulrich trying to make a move on the campus place, although here it's very difficult. Both of them, one next to the other, but only the Porsche was able to remain ahead, wholly ahead of his rival that is trying to make the overtake on the inside line into turn number 1, and actually it worked out as close to the wall as possible. Off track, as an off track in the campo, was able to make the cutback work into turn number 3. Still side by side between the two, but the Cadillac ultimately made it through. For now, at least, maybe there is an offensive for the campo that doesn't happen here, and that's the campus defeat for 7th place, and the campo is now in 8th. Ulrich only a second, 0.7 behind. That's Nicholas Ulrich, not Moritz. Nicholas Ulrich a second, 0.3 now. So the campo is not really finding gold in his mixed strategy. And this driver remains the biggest question mark for me. Josef Kiefel. Bit of a question mark, mainly because of the strategy, completely different from everyone else. Pitted early, very, very early. Looking at the lap times, well, not now, but early one, it seems like maybe just one side was changed, but I can't confirm. I'm not sure if there is a tool to see it. Let me quickly check. Tires. Is there a way to check different tires? Tire compound, let's see if it works. Actually, this works. No. Maybe like this. Oh, actually it works. No, okay, it doesn't. Never mind. Level laps. Yeah, well, obviously, if it is mixed tires, it's a bit useless. Yeah, okay, I was trying. Unfortunate. The 11 laps probably means that only part of them? I don't know. Dario Mulo still in the lead, but the gap clearly fell down a bit. It was more than 3 seconds prior to the pit stops, and now it is only 2 seconds when Gearhead has been running fantastically in the last several laps. It could become a danger for the driver in first for now. That's an off track. Only a second, 0.7, second, 0.8, second, 0.9 around there for Gearhead. Erkan at this point is in a bit of a no man's land for now. Remember that these four cars have a completely different strategy compared to the rest of the field. And now Lucas Sitter, after Ulrich became very attached to the campo, Ulrich lost a lot of time. Now it is 2.6 seconds, the gap between the campo and Ulrich, as Sitter now follows closely his teammate. Yemulo, Gilhead and Erkan into the pits, and I suppose the same happens for Müller. And I also think Chan will be next in line, although Chan, remember, it has a very different, another very different strategy. So Chan goes actually past pit lane. And now, as every good endurance race, all the strategies are completely out of every possible scheme I had in mind, and little can be understood. So now careful into the pits with 17% still energy, 26 minutes to go, and I have no idea, honestly, zero idea the strategy for Kiefer and the consequences of it. A lot of easy changing in the pits. Another car went into the pits also, and that was, ironically, Marine Bessier. Marine Bessier and Joseph Kiefel, the two rivals, went into the pits at the same time, but look at Bessier's energy left, 56%, so I'm very curious about what's happening here. Let's see how much time Kiefel spent in the pits. It was a minute and 10 seconds. I have no idea at this point. I suppose the tires have been changed. That's very likely what happened. Bessier 1 minute and 2 seconds, but ultimately I think less energy put in the car also helped. I think actually Kiefel might have put less fuel in the car, so not to go into 100%, but also change the tires. It could be a very good strategy, this one here. It certainly was a good strategy, because Kiefel now effectively gained 7 seconds out of Bessier's strategy. Earlier on, Kiefel was actually behind the Lexus, and now there are 7 seconds separating the two, but the Porsche is ahead. And Yemulo lost another chunk of time. Gilhead now only a second behind Yemulo. Basically the same pit, 1 minute and 15 seconds. I think only one side was changed. 15 seconds, maybe both. Probably they put less fuel and changed both. Can't really say. I'm trying to think about a strategy, but there is just a lot going on, and there are a lot of possible settings that could be put in place. Maybe because a lot varies depending on how much energy remains on the car. It's not as easy as in ECC, where it is 30 seconds regardless of fuel put or not when changing tires. Here it is completely different. And each part is an addition to your time spent in the pits. But we will see. Something we will see. I suppose they changed all tires and put fuel. But this has been a beautiful race, as René Felder and Andre Silva very close with one another, mainly because Felder also put forward an overtake, as Felder defends the inside, but Silva is maybe thinking about it. No, actually, and Felder managed to overtake the BMW driver, as Alex Silva is now in 7th, René Felder now in 6th. And Fender ultimately has been having a bit of a better half compared to the first one in the second part of the race. 6th place for now, but obviously they still have to go into the pits. I'm not sure how long it will be. And also consider that in Hypercar, first 7 cars still have to go into the pits, and I have no idea about the strategy variation. The Campo has been maintaining the rhythm after the initial drop, especially compared to Gumball. But Gumball had 4 new tires. "20 minutes to go, and oh, this is a big one. Sven Gilhead back into the pits. Back into the pits. Is it a drive-through? I think it is. I think it is a drive-through for speeding or track limits. Which one of the two? And now Gilhead lost 28 seconds. Drive-through for Gilhead. And effectively, Arda Erkan becomes the driver in 2nd place. And I suppose Lucas Müller is in 3rd now. Although, was it? Okay, the car is very low. On the other side. Chan also into the pits. Kobe Chan, here it is. It will be incredibly important to see a change in the tires, because I honestly don't know. I hope I could see a change or something by looking in the pits, but nope, that's not happening anytime soon. Okay, actually the car has been put on jacks. Okay, maybe not. I think Chan didn't change tires, or maybe changed only 1 or 2. So I was in the jacks. The car was on the jack. It was 1 minute and 8 seconds. But also you can see Chan 81% only. So yeah, I think one side was changed for Chan, not the other. At the same time, Lucas Müller is very interested in Chan's position on track, not the one that he took in the pits. And now Müller goes on the inside, with Chan that is maybe thinking about the defensive action in the second part of this part of the circuit, as this section ends with a right-hander. But Chan was able to clinch to that idea, and Müller was able to defend the inside as soon as possible. So Müller effectively remains in position number 3. Technically speaking, it should be 3rd place, but as you can see, it was very close between Müller and Chan, so can't say for certain. Maybe someone goes on for a different strategy. Careful here. I'm putting the magnifying lens on this driver, because every car that was into the pits has been overtaken by the Iron Dames 85, with Joseph Kiffel driving the Porsche, and Barry Bassier. It is 7.4 seconds for Bassier. So definitely a lot has been lost compared to Kiffel. Maybe Kiffel was on the right strategy all along. Nicolas Ulrich now very close to Mathieu de Campo. But even then, being closer might mean nothing if one of the two goes into the pits. Okay, never mind, I guess. Now Ulrich remains behind. 32.7 at the last lap. For Ulrich, the Campos lap time 33.2, so not really a good lap compared to Ulrich. I think the Campos strategy could have worked, but probably the camp also used a lot of tires to defend the place early on, and that really put a lot of stress on the old tires, which maybe are struggling for grip. At the same time, Ulrich was about to rear-end the campo. For now, defends third place on track, but realistically, this could be 7th. Or maybe better. Internet strategy worked. Not entirely, but worked for Kiefel. As you can see, Josef Kiefel, fifth place, yes. 5th place for Kiefel, but he was starting in 3rd. Although Eder still has to pit, so probably this is 4th place for... Oh, this is not over. Chan went in to make a point, and effectively he managed to do so, and that was Müller losing the place on Chan. Kobe Chan effectively goes ahead of Lucas Müller and behind Arda Erkan. And remember, this is actually for 3rd place in class and overall. After the spin that happened early on, everybody in hypercar class in the top 6 into the pits, and also Hanze Malui in 13th. Yemulo back on track. Apologies, Yemulo was already on track. So Yemulo effectively first. Erkan remains 2nd. Ergambal jumps into 3rd. All of a sudden, Eric Gambal jumps into 3rd, but look at the pit timer, 55 seconds only, so only fuel for Gambal. Kobe-chan follows in 4th, and Lucas Müller in 5th. The Campos 6th place, barely ahead of Nicolas Ulrich once again. Lucas Sider that is in 8th, and Sven Gilhard after the drive-through. He finds himself in 9th place. In the GT3, no Eder still ahead of everybody, but again, still pit stop to go for Eder. Nasritashvili will very likely... oh wait, okay, never mind. Will very likely retain 1st place. Clemens Schnitzel behind in 3rd on track at the moment, then Mark Sidruk and Josef Kufla. I actually don't have to wait because no Eder just went into the pits. And Nasritashvili effectively is now back in the lead, and it will probably remain there unless something huge happens at the end with 13 minutes to go. Clemens Kinsel effectively 2nd, with Mark Sidruk in 3rd, Josef Kiefel in 4th, and Marine Bessier in 5th. Okay, no, never mind. In 5th place. I saw something, but it was just not thing. Manuel Fuchs follows in 6th, with Luis Berto in 7th. No Eder, 8th place, but just centimeters ahead of the Lamborghini driver in 9th, in the 127, with the old number plate. So probably this one will be the next battle on track that we could see. Can Eder retain his current position, number 8, or will Felder be able to gain another one? Although Eder starting from 12th on the grid, strategy clearly helped Eder with a very good one. And I'm also looking at the possible battle in Hypercar, because De Campo and Ulrich are very close with one another. But they are not as close as these two. And on the main straight, the Future Racing Lamborghini could gain the spot. The Lexus already goes into defensive mode. There is the wall. And obviously Lamborghini flashes the light saying that, hey mate, I'm here, I'm already here, you can't really do anything about it. And as a matter of fact, Lamborghini goes for the move into turn 1, and that's the door smashed on the face of Eder as soon as possible for René Felder. And Eder is now in 9th place with René Felder back in 8th. Here in Hypercar. Now it is a freeway battle for position with Mattia De Campo in 6th, Niklas Ulrich and Lucas Sider following in 7th and 8th place. In terms of strategy, I think it was the same. Always with the question mark, because I don't really want to give false, wrong informations. False, wrong, so true. Okay, never mind. False information. Oh, that's De Campo going sideways for a moment. Nearly losing the car into turn 1, and that's also the battle for position number 7 as Lucas Sider jumps ahead of Niklas Ulrich. And very likely the Cadillac driver will be able to get another place, and Mattia De Campo loses position number 6 with Sider that gains 6th place, Mattia De Campo in 7th, and Niklas Ulrich in 8th place. For a moment I saw a Porsche 963 sideways, and that didn't happen. It was a very close call for the Italian driver. At the same time also, Sven Gilhed just gained the position on Moritz Ulrich, while the battle for position ahead was happening. And it's still not over. As you can see, De Campo is defending hard against Ulrich. Entering inside. The Italian remains, but Ulrich on the outside. It's very difficult here. At the end of the lap, into turn 13, and he makes it through on the outside. A very difficult move, but he completes it. Although, he completes it for now. Maybe the 963 will be able to throw the car into turn number 1. No, it doesn't happen. And the Proton livery Porsche 963 remains in 8th place. Everybody pretty tight on the energy. Apart from Fuchs, Barto and Silva, everyone is on the 40% marker. Sidurk, 46 also. Probably the top 3 may have underfueled a bit, maybe saving a bit too much in the pits. But we will see. Gumball for now has been bleeding time, and now Chan is only a second and a half behind Gumball. Obviously, it's not over till it's over. As Naskitashvili just lost 2 seconds on his teammate. What just happened here? David really lost the... That's first place, huh? It's supposed because of a mistake, huh? Yeah, 42.1, it was a mistake into the hairpin. And this is the lead change in GT3. Big one here in LM GT3. It was a 38.0 in the second sector for Kinsel, 42.1 for Nasgirashvili. So 4 seconds lost for Nasgirashvili. Probably the car has been lost either in entry or in exit, but that ultimately put away the win for Nasgirashvili. And now Kinsel is ahead of everybody. Remember when I said for now Nasgirashvili is ahead unless something huge happens, but I think something huge happened. It was the usual commentator's curse, and it happened again, and will always happen. %. It's a bit, maybe it's a bit closer for Yamulo and company. Last lap for Chan, it was 42.7. Gumball's last lap time. I have no idea. Roughly, I suppose it was a 33.0. 33.1 probably. 24%. The energy for basically everyone. I don't really think that anyone is short on energy. But regardless, never say never. In the full 29 cars grid, only one so far retired, and that is Valentin Kalkov. Reason? Probably mechanical, as the car went into the pits and then stopped at the side of it. So the campo here in huge difficulty, as Moritz Zurich could put forward another overtake. As Moritz Zurich goes into the inside, there isn't an available space. Oh, that's also Nicolas Zurich going very wide. And nearly, oh, that's a wrong car, nearly losing the place on the Italian driver. Recampo is struggling a lot with the rears, especially. Look at the grip, which is not there, so there isn't much to look at. And the exit was also pretty poor. Oh, that's the Italian that went into the defensive, nearly putting Ulrich into the wall, but into turn 1, and the Italian is on the inside, near a contact between the Campo and Moritz Ulrich, but in the end Moritz Ulrich was able to clinch into 8th place with Nicolas Ulrich, that for now is in 7th. But realistically, could this be a battle between Ulrichs? We will see as time goes on. .1 for Ulrich, for Nicolas Ulrich, and it was a 30. I don't know. Okay, never mind. Suppose it was a 34.1, or the same, considering, or even better, considering there was a bit of a gain compared to Nicolas for Moritz. Gumball is still ahead of... Oh, that's Chan actually losing the place and going into the pits, I think. Yes, Kobe Chan is into the pits. So probably the fuel wasn't enough for Chan, as here there is a battle for Ulrich. Sorry. The battle for Ulrich, and Moritz is the winner between the two. with Moritz Ulrich ahead of Nicholas into turn 1, the attack happened, and also Kufel into the pits for a bit, a very brief bit. So that was a drive-through, probably for track limits infractions. Whilst for Kobe-chan it's a completely different matter, as the car has stopped in its pit box, and that's a retirement for Kobe-chan. So probably there wasn't enough fuel for Chan in the end. And now panic, probably the panic ensures. When I said maybe they don't have enough fuel, well, clearly somebody didn't have enough fuel. A minute and 15, so that's the final lap of the race. White flag. Brought to you by Nitro Concept. 7% only, but it's enough for one final lap. Harry Gumbel in the end will be able to clinch into the main, into third. Unless something happens. I know what I'm doing here. See how fate plays this game. Mulo. This has been a wonderful... Oh, even Bessier! Even Bessier in the pits! Huge one here. Even Bessier in the pits. Was it for not enough fuel or was it for track limits? You can see the car going straight. And yeah, I think it was for track limits even for Bessier. Drive through for both Bessier and the Kiffel. Tremendous situation for both of the drivers. I suppose it is for track limits violations because I don't see any other reason. But Daniele Mulo, he remained for 70 minutes ahead of everybody, didn't battle with a single car, kept his tires where it mattered, and as a consequence, Daniele Mulo wins the round number 3 at Portimao for the Nitro Concepts 0.5 season, with literally 0% energy remaining, and Arda can complete the race in second, with Harry Gumbel completing the podium and arriving third at the line. Lucas Müller will then follow in fourth. And that's actually Clemens Kitzel in LMGT3 that wins the race in front of David Naskitashvili and Mark Sidoruk. Completed the Fisher Racing podium. Manuel Fuchs will complete in fourth, and Luis Barto finds himself in fifth. A bit by surprise, probably, as Lucas Sitter also completed the race in Hypercar. We'll see here Manuel Fuchs will complete the race in LMGT3. And Barto in fifth with Joseph Kiffel. Only sixth, René Feller in position number 7 with Marine Bessier 8th. Noah Eder, 9th place with Alex Silva that will arrive in 10th. Linus Krüger in 11th place with Alvaro Incausti that ultimately arrived in 12th. Daniel Gomez in 13th. 14th for Nikodem Perdek. Hugh Winters in 15th, and Valentin Kolkov effectively a DNF in LMGT3, whilst in Hypercar, Dario Mulo, Arda Erkan, Eric Gumbel, Lucas Müller, Lucas Sider completed your top 5 with then Ulrich, with Moritz in front of Nicolas, Matteo De Campo, Sven Gierhead, Fabian Roth, Nicholas Davis, Hazen Malui, and Kobe-chan DNF in class. So, some time to wait for the race to conclude. Or rather to wait for the results to be uploaded. Probably takes it will take us some little time, but it was a complete sweep by Fisher Racing, mainly because half of the field was composed of Fisher Racing, so that ultimately helped. Or chance for them to put forward a good result. But it was honestly a very good race. Technically speaking, it was a great race. But once again, Marine Bessier, always quick, but apparently something happens every time a good result isn't bound. But regardless, it has been a great race, and the results are probably about to come in as the server throws me out of the lobby, eventually. I hope they little edits to the graphical package I made since the last time worked. I really like the dark mode. Actually, dark mode really helps to understand who is switching which position with whom. And look at that, 0% for a lot of cars in Hypercar at least. Gillhead, Gumball, Erkan and Yemul all 0% at the line, so they really counted every single drop of well, energy, not really fuel. Can the server just throw me out so I can show the result? But I think the standings will not be updated. But let's go back in the meantime in the info slides, because next round is at Monza with Silverstone completing the year and Le Mans starting the year 2026 in LFM. And the new colors will also be unveiled. Well, not really unveiled, you can see the colors here, but the new livery will also be unveiled. And remember that this is a prize championship, so these are the prices of the wrong series. These are the prices in the Le Mans Ultimate half pro season, brought to you by Nitro Concepts, with a €500 voucher by Trustmaster for whoever wins each class, a Legend Gaming Chair Silver Edition by Noble Chairs for whoever arrives in second, and whoever completes the podium, Immersion Wind Bundle by Nitro Concepts. As I can see, the server that just threw me out. So this means that the results are on. In Hypercar, well, let's start with GT3 as always. These are the results. Clement Kiesel, David Naskilashvili and Mark Tidruk, your podium for tonight, with Manuel Fuchs and Luis Barto completing your top 5. Effectively, it was a very late switch between Naskilashvili and Kiesel for position, and the win ultimately went to the Austrian driver, as Valentin Kalkov is the only DNF in class for, I suppose, it was a mechanical issue for some reasons at least. And so yes, this is the full don't look at the gaps, but this is the full final results. There weren't 6 minutes between first and second, and these are the Hypercar results. Dario Mulo wins ahead of Arda Erkan and Harry Gumball. Your podium for tonight, 5 seconds between Erkan and Yemulo in the end. So if there wasn't that drive-through for Gillhead, probably something would have happened for the win. Who knows? But with if and whatnot, won't go anywhere. So this is the effective podium. Mueller and Sider complete your top 5, and the rest of the grid then follows along with Kobe Chan, that unfortunately DNF'd at the very tail end because of a drive-through that... not for a drive-through, but Because of a very late pit stop, which I suppose it was because of fuel. Not enough energy in the car, very likely. Or who knows. Anyway. Let's see here, one thing. Okay, never mind. Anyway, I was Cristiano Romano. This was the third of the 6 rounds. Rounds Ultimate. I hope you had a good evening following the race. And thank you so much for having followed the race for tonight. Okay, so yes, everything works. So yeah, and good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and see you next time. Bye.